aim to motivate and inspire viewers to enjoy the clothes they wear as an expression of their personality and their beliefs. This is the Slow Wardrobe. Come and have a look. Hello, welcome to episode 54 of the Slow Wardrobe podcast. My name is Linda and I'm your host. And I'm playing with a little needle keep that Susanna from Trava and Wool made for me. You may be aware that in the past she made a couple of series of embroidered project bags for me that are made with leftover pieces, scraps of Layercake linen, and she then embroiders them with silk and wool yarns. She makes her own series of project bags and needle cases, and now also sewing needle keeps or kit rolls. I don't know how you call them. Anyway, when I said, oh, I'd love one, when she first showed them on Instagram, she said, I'll make you one in one of your fabrics. So here it is in the small check linen, and she puts an inside of felted wool. I think it's like a jumper, like an old jumper that she has felted. She works with repurposed fabrics. Same with this wool fabric, which of course is great to put the needles in and then fold it over twice. And then it's got these amazing little flowers embroidered on it. And then it's got a hand-dyed little string at the end to tie it together. I adore tools like this. So have a look on her website. I'll put it down here. Trava and Wool. She is so talented. She's got wonderful embroidery yarns out of silk and wool. I bought some of her sets before. It's like the whole selection. And of course, I haven't done anything with them yet. I just play with them and I look at them and make color combinations. But oh my gosh, I love her project bags. I must have bought at least 4 or 5 of them over the last couple of years. And then I squirreled one away of the ones that she made with my Layercake linen. And now I've got a little needle keep as well. I love them. So highly recommended. But that's not what I meant to talk about. Well, I was meant to talk about this, but this took over the asylum and I forgot to introduce properly. In today's episode, after talking about Susanna's wonderful work and artistry, I will talk about my current knitting project, a future knitting project, a new design that you may already have seen that I have kits available for, and then we dive into Layercake, introducing the new dress properly in 2 lengths, one of which is a new length, and 5 different colors across 2 different types of fabric. So I hope you enjoy that. First of all, though, my knitting update. There, so let's start with what I'm working on. It is the Marja sweater or jumper by Junko Okamoto. As you know, one of my favorite designers, and this is another one of her designs that I'm really enjoying. Actually, these stitch markers, I just plonked in the middle of my work there to keep them at hand, but they're not being used, so they're not serving any purpose there at the moment. Just put them to the side. And what you're seeing here, for those of you who haven't heard or seen me talk about this project before, this is a discontinued yarn called Araucania Bossony Lace, which is a 4-ply in terms of weight. It's 100% merino, and I'm holding it together with my linen yarn, which is a a 3-ply and runs 600 meters per 100 grams, just like my soliloquy does. So I'm holding both of those together and I'm knitting on 3.5 millimeter needles. I think the pattern calls for between 3 and 3.5. I've done everything on 3.5. I didn't change needle sizes because I was very happy with the fabric that I'm getting. And you can see that it's a rib pattern that changes further down the work, and then the lines in between in a contrast, one of the contrasting colors is a really nice clustered stitch. And then here, this is 3x3 rib in another yarn that is discontinued. It's a Cherry Hill multicolored that again I hold together with the linen. I'm holding the pink linen together with my other yarns throughout, so both in the pink section as well as that first contrasting color, which is my Yak Blend 2 in Bitter Lime, and that same limey color, bitter limey color, is in the Cherry Hill yarn as well. And then by keeping going with the linen together with this yarn, it really brightens up, because of that bright pink linen, it brightens up this secondary contrast color as well. So the jumper doesn't really translate particularly well on this mannequin because of course she's tiny and this is unblocked. You can see even if I only pull it on one side, it's going to be very boxy, very oversized. And the modification that I'm putting in is, you can see it a little bit here. Right at the top, there are some short rows that's part of the upper back to make sure that the jumper hangs straight. But I quite like the idea if there's a slight roundness to the back. So I've actually put in some short rows at the lower back here, and I'm going to put some more short rows. I think I'm one round away from this being the right length. These two sections are kind of the same length. So I'm just a round away from that. And when I've reached that, I'm going to put some more short rows here in the back to slightly round off and slightly weight down that back. It's partially because I'm still on my kick of wearing a bum bag or a fanny pack or however you call it around my waist, and I wear that quite low, and I love it when that just peeps out from under what I'm wearing. So I'm going to create a little bit of that as well with this jumper, I hope, because of course I can't completely oversee exactly what's going to happen in the final blocking, and I may find that it ends up being too much to then combine that with a little bum bag as well. I'll see how I go and I'll report back. This jumper, of course, will have sleeves as well, and the sleeve coloring follows the same kind of rhythm as the body of the jumper. I've forgotten whether the sleeves are full length or 3/4, but I'm probably likely to stick to the pattern. I like long sleeves, unless the pattern really is for 3/4 lengths, and then I'll stick to that. So I'm unlikely to modify the sleeves. So that's my project, and I've been working on it pretty monogamously. However, today's the day that the clue one of the Westnitz Shawlography mystery knit along was published. I haven't looked at it yet because, of course, as normal, I'm going full pelt to get this edited and uploaded in time for this evening, so that those of you who like to watch the podcast on a Friday evening get an opportunity to do so. I've been failing miserably lately, so I'm doing my best to try and catch up with that. So I haven't actually looked at clue one yet, and I keep dithering about which colors to choose and whether or not I'm just going to work with soliloquy, or whether I'll hold soliloquy together with linen like I've done here. I like this fabric so much, and the thing is, if I would hold soliloquy together with the linen, I most probably, very likely to achieve a gauge that Stephen asks for in the original pattern, and then I can work with the needles that are prescribed in the original pattern rather than scaling everything down a little bit, which is what I normally do. So I'm quite tempted to do that, even though I've been talking about just using soliloquy. So I haven't quite decided yet. I don't know yet what I'm going to do. The other possibility is that I'll make a color combination of different soliloquy colors and then hold it together with linen in the color that goes with the magpie, because I'm still completely besotted with magpie, even though I'm quite happily knitting my very bright pink. I quite like the idea of producing something that has this magpie color in it, and I have a blue-black linen in the range. Of course, we've got the magpie gradient. I'll show that here. Little gradient set, 100 grams of the 4 colors that go from the dark blue to the black that make up the dark blue and the black that make up the magpie color. But I also have a blue-black in the single little 50-gram hanks of linen that I sell, the same 3-ply, a dark inky blue that is very similar to this, and that could work really well held together with other colors throughout shawlography. So the jury's out. If I don't make up my mind quickly, then I will not be able to keep up with the mystery knit along, which is something that I did last year and really enjoyed. I don't tend to throw myself into the Ravelry groups as much, purely because I don't have the time, but I really quite liked the challenge of trying to stick with the deadlines and be ready by every next Friday for my next clue. However, if I do that, then I'm not likely to have time left to knit on this. So I'm very torn at the moment. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do. I may have wittered on about this same dilemma last time when I was in the Scottish borders and I filmed on location. So I still haven't made up my mind. As soon as I've decided, I will let you know. Meanwhile, I still have some of the pre-made kits that I did for shawlography available. And if you like the idea, then of course it is possible to grab one of those sets and then add one of the Layercake linen yarn colors to it as a color that you keep throughout, very much like I'm doing in this jumper. If you have any questions about that, give me a shout, and happy to advise or discuss that with you, of course. But for now, that's where I'm with my existing knitting. And the one project that I wanted to re-share with you that I actually finished a lot earlier in the year is the poncho. The poncho made out of Yarnadelic, John Arbon's Yarnadelic yarns. I was given a set of the Yarnadelic minis by Juliette Arbon last year after Unravel. And I said at the time, oh my gosh, I absolutely adore these. I am going to make a design in them and I'm going to try and use all the colors. And I very quickly decided that a poncho was what I wanted to make. But I also read about the fact that this is a yarn that felts really well. So I knitted the poncho and it is big once you've knitted it, and then I felted it. And I came up with this idea that was completely new to me, and I'd be very interested if any of you have ever heard of it. You know, you probably will have seen, if you're into felting of wool, how in the American market there are a lot of top-loading washing machines, and therefore it's very easy to felt in an American washing machine because you can keep opening up the washing machine and see how your felting has come along. Of course, here in Europe, where I'm based, of course, most of the washing machines are front loaders, and of course you can't open those up in the middle of the process to see how your felting is coming along because they're full of water. However, I came up with the idea when I thought if I need wetness, I need heat and I need friction, why not do that in the dryer? A dryer you can open up whenever you want to if it's in the middle of a cycle. So that's what I did. When I finished knitting this, I wetted it thoroughly, just really soaked it, then squeezed some of the excess water out. But the main thing was that all the fibers are properly wet, which helps the felting process. Plonked it in the dryer and put the dryer on high heat. Kept it going for just 5 minutes because I didn't know how fast it was going to felt, and checked the progress. Well, I fairly quickly found out that you can actually keep going for quite a while. I think I first did 5 minutes, then I did 10 minutes, then I did another lot of 10 minutes, and then maybe another 5, something like that. But it was close to half an hour in total, I think, that I felt it for before I was really happy with the fabric. And of course, once you start felting, you can keep an eye on that and see the amount of shrinking that it's done. So if you want the project to shrink more because you want your poncho more fitted or smaller, or you're a smaller frame to begin with, then you just felt it for longer. Because this yarn, you guys, it is super soft to knit with. It's gorgeous. It's not prickly at all, but it also stays super soft when you felt it. It stays soft when you felt it a little bit, and it stays soft when you felt it a lot. I did some felting of a sample swatch that I'd knitted beforehand, just to get an idea of how much the project would felt. It is between 25 and 35% the felting to create the different sizes. And in both cases, you get a really nice felted fabric. But you can just keep going and the fibers will mesh more and more without going stiff and without going itchy. So I really recommend that. And I've been making kits like mad because I knitted this in the spring and then found out, because I said, would I be able to sell kits? They said, yeah, absolutely. But they weren't going to make the different colors available, and the mini hangs available until later on in the year. So of course I had to wait for that. So now I have them. I do all the mini hangs, so you get 25 grams of all the colors, and then an additional 150 grams of the main color, which is this really lovely soft mottled color. It's a bit from a distance it's a bit oatmeal-y, but when you look up close it's got like orange and yellow and soft lilac in it. It's a really, really nice color, and I start with it, and then in the middle section there's a whole section where you've got a couple of rows of it in between all the other colors, and that's how you end up, and you end up with it again as well at the bottom, and that's why you end up using close to 175 grams of that color. And then out of the 25 gram hanks, you've got between 2 and 3 grams left of each mini hank when you finished knitting the poncho. So if you wanted to, or if you run out of one color or whatever, you can always vary the width of your stripes. Really, it's a recipe more than anything else, and it's just a pleasing sequence. I have, of course, put that sequence on the little mini hank so you can see the sequence in which I knitted this, but you have the option to play around with the colors whatever way you want them to, as long as you keep in mind that you reserve a fair amount of your knitting for that main color. So I hope you enjoy. The feedback on the kits that I've sold so far is really popular. People love it, and let me know what you think. If you knit one, I would love to see a picture of it. If you want any further advice on the felting or anything else with regards to this kit, drop me a line. They're available on the website, and I hope you'll enjoy them. So that's it for the knitting this time. Next time I'll be able to update you on exactly what I've done with this one and the mystery knit along, the West Knits mystery knit along. Maybe I could dive into every clue on a Friday and then knit like mad and then hopefully finish my clue before it's Friday, fit a little bit of this in and then go on to my next clue. Not enough knitting hours in the day. I don't really have the time to take a holiday either. I've just been on vacation. Right. If you have any other suggestions for me to increase my knitting hours, even though I'm working full time, let me know. I need to start time traveling. For now, though, I hope you enjoy the introduction of the dress. Here's the Layercake Love Dress. Okay, the official unveiling after the blustery footage shot on the bank of the Tweed 2 years ago. Feels like 2 years ago. 2 weeks ago, where I showed you this first incarnation, our first stab at the Layercake tulip dress with sleeves. I must come up with a shorter name, and I will do before I post it on the website for pre-order. And since then we have moved on. One of the advantages that we have of working the way that I do with Andrea is that we can make a toile, for want of a better word, i.e. a first sample in the fabric that we want to make the garments in, the new layer cakes in, and then we can test drive them. I can try them out, she can try them out, we can see them on both bodies to see if they work for different heights. She's 5'2", I'm 5'10", so if they work on both of us, we know that it'll work on all the sizes in between and a little bit above and a little bit below. So that's working really well. But most of all, test driving garments, of course, gives us really valuable feedback about whether the shaping that we're going for works or not. Because one of the most important things for me is the longevity of the layer cake garments. But the second one, and ultimately more important, is the comfort when you wear them. The whole idea behind layer cake is that you throw on an outfit, feel comfortable right from the off, and can just forget about the clothes side of yourself and your presentation. Know that you're looking great, and because of that you feel great, and people pick up on that. So if any of you get lots of compliments when you're wearing layer cake, that's why, because you feel good, and when you feel good you look good, so it sends out energy and people pick up on that. So back to off my soapbox, back to the dress. I test drove this dress, so based on that test drive we've made some changes, and I will now show you the final dress. The reason I've got this on, by the way, is that this color, Magpie, thank you Helen for that name, Magpie is one of the colors that this dress is available in to pre-order as of the moment that this video airs, which should be today on Friday the 8th of October, and that pre-order will be open for 2 weeks. So get your orders in. We will start producing them the last week of October and start sending them out in the first week of November. And depending on the order level that we receive in those first 2 weeks, then that shipment week may move. So we may be shipping during the first 2 weeks of November, depending on our order book and how fast we can produce the dresses. So Magpie, the first color. and regular length, when you refer to the regular tulip dress, the tulip dress without the sleeves, this is the regular length dress, and that is one of the lengths that this dress with sleeves is going to come in. However, the tulip dress also comes in a long length, and this dress will not be available in the long length. It will be available in the regular length and in a petite. This dress is a whole 6 inches shorter than the regular length tulip dress. And as you can see, well, I hope you can see, because I'm wearing a steel dress here with the black herringbone baggies, and visually that's nearly the same color. The steel combines black with a very, very pale silvery grey, and the black herringbone combines black with an undyed linen, so they look very similar in color. So this dress is knee length on me, which is a wonderful tunic length, of course, for me, and shows trousers. But one of the reasons that I went for this length is, yes, it works as a tunic on me, but the proportions that you saw when I wear the regular length dress can be replicated by people of between like 5 foot and 5'4", 5'5" with this length. So if you've seen me wearing baggies or palazzos with a regular length dress and go like, yeah, well, fair enough, on 5'10", you've got some leg left underneath that regular dress. But when I put a 5 foot if I put a regular dress on with my 5'2" or 5'3", it is down at the bottom of my calves and I can't see my trousers. That's what this length is for. So shorter frames, here you go. 6 inches shorter than the regular length. There's normally 4 inches between the long and the regular dress length, and there's 6 inches between the regular dress length and this. And we've tried this, of course, on Andrea. And if Andrea stands next to me and we both I wear the regular length dress, she wears the petite, we both wear baggies, then the silhouette between us is very, very similar, even though there's 8 inches of height difference between us. So there you go, ladies. I hope you like that. Now, the other thing to show you is that this dress has a dolman sleeve, but it's not a wide and oversized dolman sleeve, because that would destroy the tulip shape of the dress. And one of the ideas behind this dress, just like it was with the tulip dress and the smock, for example, and our play suit, is that you get that beautiful curve that nips you in around the bust here and then flows out over the hips. That's what this does as well, even in this reduced length. And what we have done, if you've got one of our play suits, for example, or one of the tulip dresses, you will know most likely that there are darts that run from the bottom seam here, 2 darts in the front and 2 in the back, that help create that balloony shape, that tulipy shape. What we've done with these dresses in both lengths is that we have pulled those darts all the way up to the shoulder. So there are seams that run here over the tip of the bust. And that allows us to do 2 things. First, we can put shaping here so that when you wear this dress, especially if you have a bigger bust, because there is shaping, instead of it hanging like a flag down from the tips of your boobs down to the floor, that's not the case with this dress, because there is shaping here which nips the dress back in below the bust. The other thing that does is, I don't know if you can see that, but the side panel has shaping to it as well, and it comes up almost on the straight grain line, but then it bends to the side on the fabric, and that means that the fabric, when you get to this level, is on the bias, and that changes the way the dress falls completely. So in the blue dress, where we hadn't put those panels in yet, what happens is the fabric around here just sits straight, and especially with a bigger bust, that emphasizes the bust a lot more than this shaping does. You can see it a little bit with me. My boobs are not really big enough to emphasize the point that I'm trying to make, but I can feel the difference and I can see the difference when I've got the dress on. So that when I look down, instead of this looking full, which it isn't, but which it does look like with the dark dress, the fabric just sits against my skin. It sits against my body. And as the dress warms up, it flows more and more. So that the whole line of having a fitted look here works in this dress without constraining my movements in the back in any way. There's enough fabric to just be comfortable and move around. And I'll show you how much extra space there's in there. This is a size 1, which is the size that I normally wear. I'll show you now by putting one of our shirts underneath. First of all, my goodness, is it a good look. But secondly, you'll see that the fabric of that shirt just disappears without adding any bulk. Let's see. See what I mean? What do you think? It just sits naturally. Still all the movement that I want, no restrictions. And this gives you an idea of how far the sleeves of the shirt extend beyond these sleeves. So that we've done that on purpose, of course, so that you can fold up these sleeves and create the look of giving cuffs to the dress. What do we think? Do you want to see some more colors? Because of course I've got more colors to share. All the colors that I'm going to see are going to be available for pre-order. So there are 4 colors in total. 5 colors in total. 2 of them are in the heavier weight linen, which is this, the steel. And I've got another color for you. I'll sneak peeked it on Instagram, so you may have seen it already. And I've got 3 colors in the medium weight linen. Of course, the magpie is one of the medium weights, and I'll show you some more. Let's go. Color number 3, charcoal stripe. Those of you who have seen or even bought one of the striped shirts or more of the striped shirts know that there is a mist stripe, which is very light, soft grays, and there's a teal stripe, which of course has got our famous teal color in it. And this is another stripe based on our charcoal. So the dark stripes in this fabric are the same color and same color combination as the charcoal cross weave. So of course they're going to look fantastic with charcoal, but I'm showing it here on purpose also with the black herringbone. Same thing again as with the steel in terms of visual impact. It's similar kind of depth of color, but I'll show them with charcoal as well, because I'm very keen to show you what this looks like with palazzos, for example. So this length, this tunicky length on me looks fantastic with palazzos, and will look similar if you are shorter than I am with palazzos, the way the regular length dress looks like palazzos on me. So I'll show you both. I'll start with this one in charcoal palazzos, and then I'll change to the regular length dress, so you can see in terms of proportions how that outfit will sit on you if you are 4 or 5 inches or more shorter than I am. Let's go. Like this. Charcoal palazzos. This is the large, not the extra large, the large, so the in-between size on me in the longer length, and then worn with the petite dress in the charcoal stripe. So you can see a lot of leg here underneath from the knee down. So what happens to this silhouette if I change the dress to the regular length? Then that will show you how the proportions change and how this dress looks on you with trousers if you are shorter than I am. It's also going to be color number 4 coming up. Put your sunglasses on. Our very own chartreuse. As you can see on the medium length dress, on the regular length dress, the pockets are lower. On the petite dress, petite in our case doesn't just mean lobbing 6 inches off the bottom. It is petite throughout. So it's shorter here, it's shorter in this length, it's shorter in the hip area, the pockets are higher, it's proportionally shorter, not just length. So that explains the higher pockets. Still, even on the petite length, the pockets are a comfortable height for me, even though they are closer to my waist. And here you can see what I was talking about in terms of proportions. This is well below the knee on me, like for some of you the petite length will be, and you can see that there's still plenty of trouser leg left to show off. So you may say, really, chartreuse? Looks like ochre to me. It's not ochre, it is darker than that. And to show you the difference, I'll grab an ochre duster and wear it with this outfit so that you can see the difference. It's subtle, but very much there, especially when you see it in proper daylight. And here it is, ochre duster, chartreuse dress. See the difference in color? And see how good these lengths go together as well. I love this combination. Not just in terms of color, but also just the whole outfit. It's also super comfy. And it can look quite dressy, either with or without the trousers. Of course, you can change these for tights and heels to really dress it up. Or you can just keep it really comfortable and go this kind of swaggery kind of duster look. Put patches on it, you know, make it look like it's old and aged, which is one of the things that I personally love, but that's just one of my quirks. And wonderful together with the chartreuse. So now that I'm starting to layer with this dress, I'll layer some more, shall I? Show you what other garments look like when worn with this dress, because that sleeve line, that nipped in dolman sleeve, allows for combining it with lots of other layer cakes. The tabards and smocks of this world, the playsuit even, can all be worn over the top of this dress. So I'll show you some now. Starting with the tabard, this is the peacock tabard size 1 over the dress, also in the size 1 dress in the regular length. So you can see that the tip of the tabard is the same length as the dress. So if you've got smocks or tabards at home and you'd like to combine those with this dress, then what would it look like if you take a standard length tabard or smock and wear it with this shorter length dress? Shall I show you? Of course. Ta-da! Charcoal palazzos, charcoal stripe dress in the petite length, and then a standard black gingham tabard. Stare at the camera, mind goes blank every time. Still, even after all this time, I'm no natural at this. At least I'm enjoying myself, and I really hope that you do too. Still, what do we think? I absolutely love how these different lengths play together. And then you get the tips of the tabard sticking out from under the dress, but then you get the dress line peeping out of the side of the tabard, and then showing lots of legs still. So all together, it's a really elongating silhouette. And when you wear this in combination with a shorter frame, you get all those layers playing together without ever looking frumpy or dumpy. We do not do frumpy or dumpy. We always make sure that the proportions are right, regardless of height or size. One of my typical soapboxes, I immediately get fired up and I want to start shouting at you, so apologies for that. I'll never stay calm. But I hope I'm getting the point across. The whole idea is about proportions and making those proportions work on a wide variety of bodies and shapes. Big boobs, small boobs, wide backs, narrow backs, the lot. So, I hope you like it as much as I do. But I haven't shown you a smock yet, so let me show you a smock. Oh yes, smock me baby. Of course, the points of the smock are similar lengths to the points of the tabard. So if we then lob off 6 inches of the dress, then we'll have 6 inches of smock points hanging by the side. However, those 6 inches ensure that at the middle where the smock dips up, the dress doesn't quite disappear. So you get the effect of the stripes of the dress or contrasting color, whatever you're wearing with it, peeping out like you do with the sleeves. And as you can see, those sleeves work beautifully with the sleeve lines of the smock and the tabard. So you get the peeping out of your dress in all places, and then the smock with those points, funky as they are, sitting over the top. Do you want to see some other things on top of the dress? Well, of course, I have one color that I kept in reserve. Color number 5 for the dress. Shall I show you that first? The colors that I've shown you so far, so the magpie and the stripe that I'm wearing here and the chartreuse are all in the medium weight linen, like I said before. And then the steel is the heavier weight, and I've got another heavier weight. It's a heavy weight in terms of the weight of the fabric, but also a heavy weight in terms of color impact. So I'll hit you with that color top to bottom, and then we'll start playing with layers. See what I mean? Top to bottom in violet. And boy, do I like it. What do you think? Petite length dress, full length palazzo trousers, the longer lengths on me. If you normally wear the regular length palazzos, then of course this dress will be a bit longer on you, but you get the idea of the elongating effect of putting that whole column in one color without just wearing one garment like the play suit, for example. Like? So, just like the steel, this is the heavier weight linen, and just like the steel, they come in palazzos as well, so that you can create that overall look. Steel palazzos with the steel dress, or the violet palazzos with the violet dress. So those kind of color combinations of having the top and the bottom in exactly the same color, you will not be able to do with the magpie or the charcoal stripe or the chartreuse, not with the palazzos, that is, because those 3 fabrics are the medium weight, and I do not make the palazzos in the medium weight. That's purely a choice of wear and strength of the fabric, and the kind of attention that there would be on the seams. And I want whatever trousers or whatever garments I make to last you. So I'm always very aware of that, which fabrics to use for which garments. And although it's very tempting to do the palazzos in a lighter linen for summer, for example, I will use those lighter linens for bottoms, but it'll be for the high-lows and the baggies where there's lots of airiness and lots of space to move and no tightness anywhere that could put a tension or too much tension on the fabric. So I hope you understand. Let's move on with combining this bright violet with some other layers and other colors that are in the Layercake collection. Here we go. There. Violet dress, the petite length, purple smock, and then teal herringbone baggies to create a bit of contrast, but not too much, because the bluiness in the teal, of course, picks up and picks out the blue in both of these fabrics, because both of these fabrics have blue in them. And that pulls the whole outfit together, like so many of the cross weaves within the Layercake collection do. So, outfit number one, bright. Now, I'm going to show you a trick with these dresses. Discovered it yesterday when Andrea was making the purple and making the chartreuse, and oh boy, did we make a discovery. I'll show you now. I mean, how could you not? So this is the petite length dress over the top of the regular length dress. Petite length in the heavier linen, regular length in the medium linen, and then folding up the edges of the sleeves to have the chartreuse peeping out here as well. And of course, a little bit around the neckline. What do you think? I love it. They work so well together, and of course layering them makes them warmer because it traps a layer of air in between. So between the two dresses you've got all seasons covered. When it gets really cold you wear them on top of each other, and then you've got the heavier weight linen for kind of in between and the medium weight linen for when it's more summery. It works a treat, and they work so well together. Now, of course, you could make those kind of combinations with the other colors as well. I mean, can you imagine the magpie dress underneath the charcoal stripe, or the other way around? Have it charcoal stripe in the medium length and then the magpie in the petite length. Those kind of combinations will, of course, all work extremely well. And I will show some more of them in the future when I've got more dresses to show you, because at the moment these 5 dresses are all that I have, so it's all that I can play with right now. But this gives you an idea as to how you can combine them. Now, I've been wearing them on top of each other, and all I've thrown over the top so far are a tabard and or a smock. But what about a playsuit, for example? Because the sleeves will work so well with the armholes of the playsuit, and that's another example of creating a wintry outfit of a playsuit in combination with one of the dresses. So I'll grab a playsuit and then I'll wear the regular length dress underneath, so you can see how well that works. Blue crossweave playsuit, chartreuse dress in the medium length. So medium length dress works under a long playsuit or a medium length playsuit, and the petite dress works under any of the 3 playsuits. They follow each other's lines, so you can see that it works really well, and you just create that extra layer that you can wear when it's colder. And because this is all loose, the dress just finds its way and just hangs almost like a lining to your playsuit. So it works extremely well. I also happen to rather like this color combination. What do you think? So before signing off, I'm going to show you one more outfit because I whizzed past the magpie and I adore that color. And I noticed a color combination, or a fabric combination rather, with the magpie that is rather lush that I quickly want to show you before signing off. Here we go. Magpie dress, medium length, with the ink chalk stripe wool baggies. I love this combination. The colors are almost identical. The magpie is slightly lighter, slightly more powdery than the depth that you get with the slightly fulled felted wool of the ink chalk stripe wool. But together they just, I think they're magic. And of course, if you would want to show more trousers, you could go for the shorter dress. But I think just that bit of trouser peeping out at the bottom is fantastic. And then of course you can layer these dresses as well. Show you one layer before going. Shorter dress in steel over the longer dress in magpie with that chalk stripe in the trouser. Lots of more combinations of course I could make, and I will do in the next couple of weeks. You'll see me playing with that chartreuse more because of course I'm excited about that, and the chartreuse with the magpie together. Ooh, lovely as well. So you'll see more of that coming through as soon as I can show you more. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.